time.
Hi, good afternoon, Natasha. Great to be with you.
Well, we know the backstory, Ronesh, to this failed municipality or the collapse of the coalition government, but maybe just give us a reminder of how we got to this point and why these by-elections are so important.
Yeah, I think a very interesting development actually happened in Metsi-Maholo local municipality, which resides in the Free State. It's also part of the Fazile Derby district municipality. Very interesting. This is the second whole municipality that has been dissolved within 1 year, and obviously since the local government elections last year. You would recall this year in May 2014, we had the Nklutu local municipality here in KZN, and obviously we know the big winners. The IFP won more seats than it actually did in last year's local election. So this is the second whole council that actually was dissolved for not passing its budget before the end of the financial year, which was 30th of June this year. Then we had the local government minister, the COGTA MEC, intervening, dissolving that municipality, then instilling an administrator, passing a temporary 6-month budget in that municipality. Then in August, we also saw that the IEC told the municipality that they needed more time to verify around 22,000 names on the voters roll. Remember, Metsi-Maholo local municipality has around 83,000 registered voters. But according to the Constitutional Court here, judgment that was passed last year, June 2016, each voter, each registered voter has to have their details, their address details, those important information actually reflected on that voters roll. So they asked for an extension of time. And then we saw in September, the Electoral Court ruled that the by-elections can be postponed. And obviously we are seeing that the by-elections are being held today, and special votes were held yesterday. And we can expect the results early tomorrow morning.
All right, so let's fast forward to when we get these results. I mean, service delivery is such a crucial issue for residents of this municipality. People live in terrible conditions in that area. There, pit toilets, issues of health and safety. How long will it take for things to change in that area? Because it's all well and good to have these by-elections, but things still need to run smoothly. So what's likely to happen after these by-elections?
I think, unfortunately, the sad truth is that service delivery, especially at local level, is a very slow process. The MEC did intervene, the Free State COGTA MEC did intervene. There is an administrator in place. There is a temporary budget. So things will move in that municipality. But, obviously what happens, in today's by-elections will determine who actually controls that municipality. In last year's elections, we saw, the ANC winning majority of seats in that 42 council, in that 42-seat council. Then we had a coalition of the opposition. We had the DA, the EFF, the MCA, and the Freedom Front Plus. So I think what needs to come very importantly out of these by-elections is that deadlock needs to break. That deadlock of 21 seats to the ANC and a possible coalition partner, and 21 seats on the other side of the opposition, that needs to break for actual service delivery to take place. If you look at the stats in the Metsi-Maholo local municipality, we have a very high unemployment rate in that municipality. It sits around 32%. Youth unemployment at a staggering 42%. But remarkably, this municipality, if you really look at the stats from the census 2011 data, it features quite prominently in terms of electricity, in terms of water and sanitation, in terms of flush toilets. It's above 70%. So I think just a slight improvement, but local government issues will take a long time to actually unravel, even after today's by-elections.
Absolutely. And then Ronesh, just looking at the bigger implications moving towards 2019 and the general elections, the political implications of this, can we foresee a coalition government?
I think it's absolutely interesting developments that, everybody is watching, very closely what's going to transpire in Metsi-Maholo today. Of course, the big story is the ANC and the fractures with the South African Communist Party. This is the first fully fledged elections that the SACP is kind of contesting on its own. So people really want to see, is the SACP up to whatever the rhetoric they have been talking about, that they will challenge the ANC. We will show you in 2019. The big talk is obviously in 2019 the ANC will be forced below 50%, the psychological 50%. But I think what we need to see tomorrow is, how many seats does the ANC win? How many seats does the DA win? How many seats does the EFF win? And very strategically, remember, local elections is very, very different compared to national and provincial elections. Here, the smaller players actually matter, like we saw with the MCA being the so-called power broker or the kingmaker after last year's elections. They actually got the mayoral seat with just 2 seats, and those seats weren't from wards. Those 2 seats came from PR. So, looking again at the dynamics of local elections compared to national and provincial elections, here you don't necessarily have to win a ward to actually have a say in that council. These smaller parties are entering simply on the basis of winning a couple of PR seats, and that PR seat has equal weighting when that council actually, sits. So the SACP wants to actually, put out a very strong message to the ANC that, we can take you on, we can teach you a lesson for not listening to us, we can teach you a very, very big lesson for not consulting us and for actually fracturing the alliance, the alliance of the ANC, SACP, SANCO, and COSATU. So I think the bigger message is that the SACP wants to prove a point to the ANC that, don't ignore us, listen to us. We're an equal partner in this alliance. But I think, Natasha, very importantly, the converse argument of what can transpire after these by-elections is that the SACP can be weakened. If the SACP does not do as well as they expect to do in these by-elections, then obviously their hand will be weakened. Going to the 2019 elections, the ANC says, we don't need you. Yeah. You can go contest elections on your own, fight your own battles. We as the ANC, we still got COSATU on our side, we still got SANCO on our side. We'll get those alliance partners to campaign with us going into 2019.
Yeah, very interesting. Ronesh Dhawraj, our specialist political researcher, joining us from our Durban studios. Thank you so much for your insights. And we will be watching those by-elections very closely, those results expected out tomorrow already. That's where we leave it for now, but I'll be back with more at the top of the hour. We'll take a short break.